deaf, dumb, and blind. Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition, stripped of our names, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion? Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die. But all of the years that we're living, for us there's nothing but hell, pain, torture, and misgiving. Yet the Bible speaks of a heaven filled with material luxury, which the white man and the preacher has right here, so we see. So my friend, take it for what it's worth. Your heaven and your hell is right here on this earth. So let's check back into history, which rewards all research and tells us plainly. Before the white man gained entry to the East, he was living in the caves of Europe, a ravenous beast, eating juniper roots and eating flesh raw, till God sent Moses to civilize him and teach him the law. Then, following Marco Polo, an explorer, he gained entry into Asia and Africa. From China he took silk and gunpowder. From India he took jute, manganese, and rubber. He raped Africa of her diamonds and her gold. From the Mideast he took barrels of oil untold. Raping, robbing, and murdering everything in his path. The whole black world has tasted of the white man's wrath. So my friend, it's not hard to tell. A white man's heaven is a black man's hell.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Scurv podcast. This is going to be not an all-nighter. I just had a few things that I had to get off my chest. There's a few thoughts hit me today that we need to discuss, and it's pretty much not anything that I haven't said before, but maybe in a slightly different context. I want to show and play a video for you that was very enlightening, that so many of us as melanated people, African American, melanated global people, refuse to see, that others understand where the future is. But the title is, Are We Addicted to Self-Sabotage? While others build up, we tear down. And I want you to take a closer look at the banner, okay? Look at that. This is an AI banner that I prompted and created, but I wanted it this way. We have Black people in the forefront, giving each other gossip, aggressions, pointing in the face with the finger, ready to fight, envious, jealous, self-sabotaging, and self-destructive. You can talk a good talk, but at the end of the day, your actions speak louder than words. Now we look back in the background. You see a sign that says Chinese market, and you see some Asians, some Chinamen building, smiling, working with each other, in contrast to what we see in the forefront. And then you see folks to the right from the Middle East, Lebanese, Turkey, and you see them building in the background, structures, building. And there are those of us who are builders. Hope Rice, my dear sister, the only Rice I F's with, thank you so much for being here. But there are many of us who are trying to build, but we can't build on a weak foundation. We can't build with a foundation of us that we want to stand on, not to help to stay down, but you undergird us, those of us who have the visions, not division, but the vision and plans that will benefit us all. But we don't want to benefit all of us. When we get ours, we want to say, hey, I got mine, you got yours. It's too long for that, y'all. This is why I will work with those of us who have the vision, who are not going to come with the foolishness. Some will talk a good talk. I've experienced it so many times. They will talk a good talk to the world and sound righteous, but have resentment and want to hold down their own brother and sister down. How do they feel when they know that they're revealed? How do they feel when they know that they're revealed and you don't want to mess with them anymore? So for me, at the ripe old age of soon to be 63 on April 8th, I have a lot of juice in my fruit and a lot of life to live ahead of me. The stress is off of me. I'm not carrying any Negroes that have it in for me, who want to play the crabs in the barrel game, use you, abuse you, talk bad about you after you have helped them and wanted the best for them. Can't do it anymore. I'm still positive. I'm still pro us, but I'm not going to go for the okie doke anymore. Can't do it. Can't do it no more. Can't do it.
The highest return on foreign investment than any other place in the world.
But you don't hear about
Of course not.
Of course, right.
Hear
Of
about
course,
it.
the global average is 7.4. Africa is 11, right? So nobody knows that, and nobody thinks that, and nobody talks about that,
Right.
because it's counterintuitive
I'm
to
gonna keep
the
it-
perspective that they have.
I'm going to keep it
of
a
the
buck with
concept.
you, because I've often thought about this, especially, getting older. I'm going, I want to invest in Africa. But then just being honest and truthful, then fear starts to come. Like, wait, what if this happens? And what if that happens? And
What
I'm
if a
like,
lion comes?
and it's because I think what ends up happening is that all of that programming and fear starts to come, like, oh, well, you don't know, and what, and before you know it, you end up doing nothing, right? You end up doing nothing and not investing.
That's
And
why
so-
you're here
Yeah.
to guide us to this. It's crazy. It's really crazy. I mean, Nigeria's GDP is going to be $15 trillion by 2050. Nigeria's going to be the third biggest economy in the world.
Wow.
That's the truth. Africa right now has four of the 10 fastest growing economies in the world is in Africa right now.
Let's go.
Technology, AI, finance, infrastructure, real estate. It is booming, right?
When did you start
because
Full
it's
Circle
all
and why?
about the numbers.
Yeah.
Right? We have the youngest demographic in the world. 40% of the world's youth will be in Africa by 2050.
Damn.
Think about that.
40%
of the
world's
entire world's youth
yeah.
will be in Africa. So, what that means for job creation, what that means for human resources, what that means for ideations, what that means for technology. Africa has 900 million smartphones by 2030. That's twice as many as America and Europe combined.
Damn.
And with fintech and everything else, everybody's doing everything on their smartphones in Africa. They've done that for years before we even started over here.
Before we did the pay by with the Apple Pay and whatever, they were
doing
doing
that
that.
Kenya,
before
in
that. They
Kenya,
sure
that's
were.
Yep.
everybody's.
They were
doing
doing that. Yep.
Yeah,
I saw a
everybody's
whole
doing
video on that.
Yeah.
Damn.
right? So again, the work that we're doing is, and it's funny, people say, oh, it's so good of you to give back. I'm not giving back. This is economic development. This is investing. This is understanding that Africa is not an emerging market anymore.
Yeah.
It's a booming market in endless sectors.
And this is probably why you see a lot of the people from China starting to come into.
Not starting to come in.
Starting-
They've been in
there.
Africa for
they've been
the
there.
last 20 years,
Oh wow. Yeah.
investing especially in
So we're just now
infrastructure.
finding out. Yeah.
Yeah.
For decades they've been
Yeah.
very busy in Africa.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's important that we realize.
When did you start?
the
When did you start
opportunity.
Full Circle?
2019 was our first year.
2019.
So we took Ghana from 40,000 tourist visa to 1.2 million the next year.
Damn.
In 1 year.
Wow.
So now that means we helped contribute 10 billion to the economy just through tourism and investment tourism.
That's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, because I remember you invited me. I think it was last year. And I wasn't able to make it. But I'm definitely coming by the grace of God for the next one.
You have a conference?
Yeah, we do a full circle conference where we invite leaders in business, sports, and entertainment to come and have these kind of
when does it happen?
discussions.
It's gonna
Christmas and New Year's. So it's right after Christmas.
Is it out here?
No,
It's in Accra.
Was it? Is it?
Ghana.
Is it? Really?
Let me tell you something. There is so much going on out here where I live. I'm on the outskirts of Accra. And I will say that my progress since landing here has been phenomenal. But I wouldn't share a fairy tale story with anybody because there's a lot of adjusting culturally. You'll find out who's around you real quick, and you'll have to adjust to that. But once you have your vision and know what you want to do, you're good. I'm going to speak on something before I continue playing this video. Number one, you're not going to see this stuff in the Western media. Thank the creator for the internet with things that do slip by that educate us, but many don't want to see. They want to continue with the propaganda that the white man gives them about the lions and the tigers and the hungry kids. And here you're getting information. They're building a tech city here in Ghana, in Accra, on the outskirts of Accra. And I believe it's going to house 58,000 people. It's going to be a city, high tech, lots of jobs. But they're not going to tell you that. Just like many of you are hearing now of how victorious America is in this Iran war, and you go online away from the Western media and you see different. They're feeding you a bunch of lies. But wherever you go, you're going to have to strive, you're going to have to sacrifice, and you're going to have to push. You have big companies that are coming here doing business, Nigeria, Ghana, everywhere else. You do have the poor section of people, cross section. Yes, there really is no middle class in Ghana. It's people of affluence in the upper class and maybe upper lower class that are dipping into a lower middle class, but really in the middle is not much there. So people are struggling, and the economy is not excellent for those coming from the bottom rung of the economic part of the platform. That's a fact. So you will see things that feed into the narrative. But if you understand where things are going and have a little foresight of what you can do, you can make leaps and bounds. But there's other things I have to talk about that, how you have to sometimes stay away from certain people who do come from the same place you do, want to get up in your business and sabotage it. I'm all about the straight line. This is why behind me, and you can't see the rest, you can't see upstairs, it's not a brag thing, it's a proof thing. And I'm not a person saying, hit the cash app, hit the cash app, hit the cash app. We're doing a damn thing, right? And it has not been easy, but it's a lot easier, better than where I came from. I'll continue on.
Really? That might
You
be.
never seen all the content that came from that?
No,
December in
listen.
Ghana?
First of all, Ghana and Nigeria popping in December.
Yeah,
first
December.
I was there when I was in Nigeria a year ago, visiting my relatives. I met so many tech people. It's crazy, like the tech, and I was like, well, what about the government? It's like the government is still corrupt. He says we don't care about the government. We do what we do.
Yeah.
I have my there's all these tech people. My cousin's is a filmmaker in Nigeria, and I just went to some film festival and just meeting directors and just they're getting it in, man.
It's amazing what's going on.
Getting it in, bro.
And it's interesting because we have a partnership with the government.
Yeah.
But we're focused on the private sector, right? Because the private sector has the ability to move much faster. So it's much easier to get stuff done when you partner with the private sector and you get the endorsement of the government. So you don't have to wait.
So I'm heading over to. I'm coming to Ghana in December. I'm coming to Ghana.
You should. You should.
We'll do 154 there. We'll do 154.
Let's go.
Yeah, we're doing
We're
154.
coming.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
we're
My
doing.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think it's important,
We
not
about
only
to-
that we have this
Yes.
podcast here, but we take this podcast and
Yes.
it's mobile and its mobility to be able to see this in
Yeah.
real life, because like you've just dropped a bunch of dimes
Man.
and just really kind of
What?
educated us and the audience on really kind of the capability, the possibility that's in Africa to even think about it. Because I'm an investor. I like to invest my money. I like to see money grow.
I don't invest.
And, well, then here you go.
I don't have. You guys are responsible dads. That's why I'm looking at y'all like.
No, man.
When you
but
said
you
he
gotta-
said 7%,
Man,
you
man,
go
I-
okay,
listen.
7 to 8%. You'd be like, okay, cool. You throw out 11%.
But I don't invest
what?
in anything. I have nothing.
Well,
Not a
we-
damn thing. Not a damn dime.
You're just
Nothing.
talking about Nigerians in tech. It's a hotbed.
I would
There's
love
a
to.
lot going on.
I just want to be smart.
There's a lot
I invested a
going
long
on.
time ago. It was whack.
There's a lot.
But I want to.
But
That's
for people,
what I would like to.
for people who are interested, we have a platform called Full Circle Streamline Travel, and we service anyone from the diaspora and people from the continent who are interested in experiences on the continent.
Memorandum 46. They don't want you to hear this stuff. You feel like you're at a dead end in America, stressed beyond belief, but you don't have to come here to live if you don't want to. But there's hope. But they don't want you talking. They want your mind filled up with hating each other, thinking that the only way to do it is the way you've been doing it. It does take money. It does take sacrifice. I won't lie. But if we had more unity, like these brothers here who are sharing the information, like they say, they want to help people from all over. They want to help us, right? But we can help ourselves. All it takes is a little unity.
Whether it's just travel, flights, hotel, tours, or immersive experiences like, cultural sites, historic site visits.
I want to say real estate.
The Ghana Chieftaincy Awards are coming up in May. Real estate tours, all that we're doing that in order to educate and to inform people about the real Africa.
Yeah.
154.
Okay. The bottom line is, let's switch this screen up a little bit. Right. They don't want you to hear this information. They're scared of that, but everybody else is coming here. So what's up with that? Everybody else is coming here and thriving. Look at the banner that I made. That exemplifies what's going on over here. But here we are in America, and a lot of us who come from America and come here, but we want to be famous and push our nose up and act a certain way, and you got to rope-a-dope them too. Got to be careful who's around you. But if you're strong enough and willing to sacrifice, you can make it. But people don't understand that. You got to keep your nose up out of the Western media. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. I'm not used to saying that, but I'm going to say that. Doesn't cost you nothing, right? Anyway, let's get more into this. There's a couple things I want to share, a couple things I want to say, and we're going to do it like this. There comes a time when you have to stop lying to yourself and call things exactly what they are. No sugarcoating, no excuses, no blaming everybody else while we ignore what's happening right in front of our eyes. What we are dealing with today is not just struggle, not just oppression, not just bad luck. What we're dealing with is a culture of destruction that too many of us have accepted as normal. And let me be clear from the start. This is not about all of us, but it is about enough of us where it is shaping how we are seen, how we live, and how we are going to end up if we don't wake up. Why are we saying wake up in 2026? When you see the killings, the self-hate, the lack of unity, the unhealthy living, and the refusal to build, you cannot help pretending or keep pretending that this is just random. This is a pattern. This is a learned behavior. This is a culture. Toxic? Yes, a toxic culture. I've lived in places where I saw it up close. I've seen communities where the biggest threat wasn't from the outside, but from within, where trust is rare, loyalty is temporary, and building something real feels almost impossible because someone is always ready to tear it down. That's not power. That's not strength. That's self-destruction. Then I made a move that many people said was crazy. I left the comfort zone that many cling to and came to the motherland. And what I saw here shattered the lives I was taught. It exposed how deep the programming runs. Because what many people think Africa is and what it actually is are two completely different realities. So now I speak from experience, not just opinion. And what I see is this: while many of us are trapped in a culture that destroys, there is a whole world of opportunity waiting for us. But the sad truth is, many will never see it because they have been trained not to. A culture of destruction doesn't always look like chaos at first glance. Sometimes it looks like entertainment. Sometimes it looks like music, trends, and what people call the lifestyle. But when you look deeper, you see the damage. You see the mindset behind it. Young men are taught to value aggression over discipline. When they believe their only way out is through a microphone or a basketball, that's not ambition, that's limitation. When they turn that frustration on each other, it becomes deadly. And no doubt, we see it every single day. When young women are taught that their value isn't how much attention they can get, how much they can expose their bodies, or how much they can gain through transactional relationships, that's not empowerment. That's exploitation being repackaged and sold back to them as freedom. And then there's the diet. Not just food, but mental diet. What we consume every day, the images, the messages, the music, it shapes how we think. It shapes how we act. And when the constant message is destruction, don't be surprised when destruction becomes the outcome. One of the most dangerous parts of this culture is the lack of trust. We don't trust each other enough to build. We don't support each other enough to grow. We question each other. We doubt each other, and sometimes even sabotage each other. Trust me, I experienced that wholesale, and I know what it tastes like, but it made me stronger. Meanwhile, other groups move with strategy. They come together, pool their resources, and create systems that outlast any one individual. They understand that unity multiplies power. But many of us are still stuck in a mindset where it's every person for themselves. I got to get mine, you got to get yours. And many of us who position themselves to be prophetic or wise people, their personal lives are a disaster because they can't unify with anyone because they got to be top dog. They got to be the one in control. Their egos and their narcissistic ways destroy unity amongst the people and have them hating each other and not talking to each other unless you bow down to them. So many false prophets out here, sending and speaking a dream to you, romanticizing for their own benefit and attention. And even when we step into new environments, That mindset follows us. I've seen people come to Africa with the same habits, the same distrust, the same need to operate alone. And because of that, they miss out on what could be built together and so much more easier. But let's talk about the biggest lie. The idea that Africa has nothing. The idea that it's a place to avoid, a place to fear, a place with no opportunity. That lie has been pushed so hard that many believe it without even stepping foot here. But the reality is different. Africa is rising. The numbers don't lie, as you heard on that video that I played. The return on investment here is higher than the global average. The population is young, energetic, and ready to learn. The potential in technology, business, and infrastructure is massive. And the cities are growing. Opportunities are expanding. And while there are challenges, just like anywhere else, the door is wide open for those who are ready to step in and build. But many of us are too busy believing the old stories to see the new reality. Here's the part that should wake you up. While many of us hesitate, others are moving in. They are building businesses, securing land, creating networks, and setting foundations for the future. They don't see Africa as a place of lack. They see it as a place of opportunity. They're thinking long term while many of us are stuck thinking short term. And because of that, they're positioning themselves for what's coming next. It's not about what they have that we don't. It's about how we think. They move with unity. They move with purpose. And they understand that building something real takes time, effort, and cooperation. So what do? It starts with awareness. You cannot fix what you refuse to see. You have to recognize the patterns. You have to question what you've been taught and who taught it to you and why. You have to be willing to unlearn and relearn. It also takes discipline. Not everything that feels good is good for you. Not everything that is popular is healthy. Sometimes growth means stepping away from what is familiar and stepping into what is necessary. And most importantly, it takes unity, real unity, not just words, not just hashtags, but action. Supporting each other, building together, trusting each other enough to create something bigger than ourselves. We're standing at the crossroads. One path leads to continued destruction, more of the same cycles, more lost potential, but the other path leads to growth, opportunity, and a future that we control. But nobody is going to force us to take the better path. That choice is ours. And every day, through our actions, we are making that choice, whether we realize it or not. I made my choice when I stepped out and saw the world for what it really was. And I'm telling you, there's more out there than you've been shown. There's more available than what you've been told. But what you have to be willing to see it. See? You have to be willing to move. And you have to be willing to break free from the mindset that's holding you back. Because at the end of the day, the greatest enemy we face is not always outside. Sometimes it's the programming inside. And until we deal with that, nothing else will change. But the moment we do, anything can and everything can. Trust and believe that. But I tell you, it hurts me when I see the path we're going down. I mean, it's something that, I don't know. I just can't believe this is 2026 and we're still saying wake up. If a person to me doesn't want to wake up, Let them stay asleep. But the world that's being built around us, we can do the same thing too. And I'm not saying that it's all of us, but look at the illustration. Look at us in the forefront. We're so quick to run and gossip against each other, run and tell lies because of the insecurities inside of us, that we see the next man with potential and his head on straight. And because you talk the talk, but you don't feel it on the inside, you have to go now and tear that person down. Isn't it something? And work hard at doing it, because you know you have no damn ambition on your own, but you want to leech from somebody. And if you can't use somebody, you're going to tear them down. Everybody's looking for the hookup. Everybody's looking for the free ride. When I say everybody, those who are like this. I isolate myself from that kind of foolishness. And see, what most don't know about me, welcome, Sister Queen Diane. I'm glad you're here. What they don't understand about me is that I'm an extrovert, but I'm also an introvert, that I can sit down with my work all day long, which is heaven for me, and write my articles, draw my pictures, prepare my shows. I don't need anything else. As a young boy, I used to lock myself in the room, do my homework, listen to my 45 and 33 records, sports channels on the TV, well, Wide World of Sports back in the day, back in the 70s, and draw and write. And when my friends wanted me to come outside and play, I would, and I would be the life of the party. But this, for me now, to be isolated from those agents, isolated from those people who are determined to tear you down, like MC Hammer said, can't touch this right now. Can't touch it. It ain't going to happen. So this is why I expect, with the plans that we have that I cannot put out there, that I'm happy to move forward on, that I weathered the storm and my feet are on solid ground. So look for some wonderful things from us in the coming months and the coming years, because we made it. Everything thrown at us by our own people didn't succeed. And this is why I moved the way I do. And I'm not against moving with others who don't look like us, if they are positive. It's the energy you need. We can't babysit people who are reluctant to move forward. We can't hang out with people and try to convince them, after they've moved all the way from America or the UK to come to the motherland, but they brought the same old attitudes and mindsets with them. I'm telling you the truth. There's a lot of righteous people who wear dashikis and African gear and ankhs and change their names and position themselves to speak a certain way, but they have hate and envy in their heart and don't want to see others around them do well. Well, be ready to have nightmares, because the Creator put it in me to do well and gave me lots of talents, and Mrs. Scurv lots of talents and abilities. So you're just going to have to be miserable, but stay exactly where you are. So whenever you have a dream, a vision, you never let go of it. The minute you let go of it, you're defeated. You're alive, and the Creator woke you up this morning. You always have a shot. But like I said, you have to get with the right people who have the right mindset and who want to do and have a proven track record of doing more so in person than the yap, talking about the ancestors and talking about the man. Let's get down and do something right now positive. I don't mind speaking about that, but so many people bedazzle you with this romanticizing of this movement. And what the video I showed you, they talk some figures. They have people actually doing things. And one thing I'll say, no matter where you are, you got to watch out for the shysters. We got people who view us who come from America as having lots of money. We come from a different place. You do have those who have a colonized mind who see us as a meal ticket. But you also have those who come from America and come over here to come back and sell you something that doesn't exist. to use you after gassing you up. No different than the guy who lied to the girl and said, I love you. I want to marry you. I want to have children. I want us to have a nice home. I want to be with you, but be committed with you. And all he wants is that thing. And when he gets that sweet thing, he's gone. And I'm telling you, there are people who I have been connected to, people I have promoted years ago here that I found out were shysters. I'm going to tell you. I blew them up. I told the people who needed to hear it. People called me up. Lance, I know that you had nothing to do with it. You were just trying to promote another black man, but he got me for $39,000. There's another one. Oh, he got me for $16,000. Oh, he got me for $54,000. And they never answered me back. They got the money. They erased themselves offline and they're gone. And they're slick talkers. That's why I don't do that anymore unless I investigate every hair around your anus. And I'm not into that. But I got to know everything. I got to see everything. You got to show me paperwork, bank accounts, everything, who you dealing with, and I'm going to call and verify. It's too much work. I don't do it no more. I don't want to lead nobody astray and make people think that I'm part of some scam because I don't do that. I speak from the heart. We talk about issues, real stuff, sometimes a little entertaining, but I'm not going to lead anybody astray. That is cruel and you'll pay for it. If you don't pay for it on this level, there's accountability on some level because it always balances out. It could be a wonderful thing if you think right. It could be an option that was never put on the table and never put into your head. You tell me, if you lived enough years in the United States of America and went to public schools, what were you told about Africa that was good? Why are we finding out more about Africa that's good on the internet, but not in the schools? Because they want to train you to be workers in their system. They don't train you to think independently. They train you to see something on a piece of paper. You answer it back. They give you a star, pat you on the head. Oh, you're a good student. And we're preparing you to work in our systems where you don't get anything above what we deem is enough just to keep you alive until the next week. So you think the answer is getting another job and getting a third job. And you're wearing yourself down. So by the time you get to 50, 55, and 60 years old, you're looking old and got major health problems, and you don't even get the retirement that they promised you, that they know you'll never get because you're so worn down in their system, breathing toxic air, eating bad food, seeing bad things on the internet, hearing gunshots at night because you can't afford to live in a place where the crime is lower. Scared to go to the ATM at night because you're wondering who's standing around to come jack you for the money that you just got. You at the red light in your nice brand new car or any car, and you're looking around because you might have a gun put up under your nose to get out, and they take your vehicle. And the very people that they say, the officers or overseers, we know, those of us who know what their job is, but you run to them for help. They're looking at you like you're the criminal. They come into your house and disrespect you and you call them for help. This is why a lot of black people don't want to call the cops. They don't want to call the police. I know some good ones, but I know they're very far and few between. And the things I've seen and experienced for myself, but those who are here think that America is the promised land. Oh, brother, why do you want to come here? There is nothing here. Because in the school systems here, they don't tell you there's potential here. But if you open your eyes and see all of the different people who are coming here and employing those who are young, who think nothing's here, for pennies on the dollar, many have gotten so intoxicated with the phone that they're on their jobs, say a big, massive supermarket like the Palace Mall, or Melcom, the big supermarket, and you see them working. They're working, but they always got their phone. And nobody complains. You know why? The so-called bosses and supervisors don't complain because they're not paying them no big money. And all you concerned about, and many of us who are younger concerned about, is the newest phone. They looking at somebody else, oh, that's the newest iPhone. Let me see. So they have us screwed up in the head. Religion got us screwed up in the head because any white man that comes to Africa, they're looking to them for a job. They're looking to be a destiny helper. That's a terminology that's used in churches down here, that God will provide you with your destiny helper. So they'll look at us and more so other people for a job. And you have all of the rich resources under the soil. You got land all the way around. You got young men who know how to build. There was no company that built this house. It was a group of individuals who knew what they were doing. And you have to supervise it. But why can't they do that for themselves? Right? Let me see what my brother, Mad Guns Monster, said. Welcome on in, brother. Let me see. Let me check these comments. I see a big comment here. Just to move out of Brooklyn, my cousin goes and purchases a house in goofy ass Staten Island. Now she works like 3-4 jobs to live in a crappy, weird ass street. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying, though, for real? And she has to do all that. Look, I gave all that up. I didn't have it that bad, but I paid my light bill today. It's prepaid. I play a game with the light bill. It adds up. I throw some more. I'll go downtown next week, throw some more, just throw some more in there, excess, throw it. I'd like to pay a light bill for another year and a half. And I'm working on the other sources of power. At my pace, Mrs. Scurv's pace. What else? Food and the other building and stuff that we had, the icing on the cake. At our time, in our pace. I'm good. I don't know what time I'm going to wake up tomorrow if the Creator wakes me up. I'm going to go to sleep when I want to. It's already 12:27. This won't last that much longer. I don't have to deal with certain things that are dealt with in America. And I feel good. When we're young and we see somebody who's 30 and 35 and 40 and you're in the elementary school, say, man, they're old. And I see people back in America who are 35 and 40 and 45, and man, they're old. I was talking to a friend of mine. He's talking about getting back in the gym and training. And I said, man, take your time. You're 48 now, take your time. You're old. He said, come on, Lance, what are you talking about? You're 63 in 2-3 weeks. I said, oh man, you're right. I don't feel it. Oh, I got to do it on the show. Mad Guns Monster, the mountain air is doing me good. That's our inside joke. It's not too much inside anymore. I got to harass you with that one. But the thing is, just understand, and Mad Guns Monster understands that the world is big. He's a well-traveled individual. But many of us don't know that. Many of us have these blinders that were put on us from people that didn't have our best intentions to manifest. They never encourage you to think on global affairs. They want you where you are to work for them in their system, and they go and conquer the world. And they're very greedy people. Look what's happening in the world today. You have a set of people who are strong-arming America to go fight a war for them because they're greedy and want to take over, right? They'll start a war and kill people. But you're not allowed to have ambition to expand things financially and create a legacy and more comfort for your family for generations to come. That means they see you as their slave, and you're supposed to be up under them begging for a little raise, when at the same time they raise the insurance, so your raise means nothing. The insurance and health people get paid more, right? I see you. but it's you can't pull everybody. And I have a loving heart for my people, and I love my people, but sometimes you have to love them from a distance, you see, and lead by example. So for me, a lot of that is done with. I've been backstabbed so many times and can't do it no more. You got to go for self, and for those who have enough discipline to go for self, and then we can work together when I see you striving towards something. But if you're looking to use, manipulate, enjoy what you got from us, you ain't getting no more. Only for the people who I know are in my inner circle. See, that's the way it is, human nature. This is why I speak a lot about human nature. And when I wake up, if the Creator wakes me up, I'm going to talk about something along the lines of human nature. And then we're going to do another live show at some point and talk about these things we need to talk about. But I'm tired of saying wake up. I'm tired of it. I'm not saying wake up anymore. If you want to stay in the bed and just sleep your day away and then go hate on people and look at yourself as if you're less, while others, like you see in the background here, they're thriving and growing and smiling and enjoying a camaraderie. And there have been times in my life I've enjoyed wonderful camaraderie. I mean, going back to my teen years, when I was involved in bodybuilding and the teamwork and the fun you're building. We were building our bodies, but we were building other things, a connection to friendships. Some of those young men have passed on. I miss them dearly, but I still draw strength from what we had. And I'll say have, because I hate to say anything in the past tense when I speak about someone who's transitioned, their energy is still alive. Just not in this physical plane and physical form. So I'm still vibing with that every time I hear a song that reminds me of them. Every time I think of a joke or some good time that we had, or even some bad times that we had where we had to help one another. They had to help me emotionally. I had to help them. Somebody had to dig in their pocket with it, but you felt like you were part of something. But we've sucked up this so-called culture that's been hijacked by those other people who are at war with Iran. Yes, I said it. They run the entertainment industry, the music industry, and they want to keep us in a certain place by what they put out, and we suck it up. We suck it up. It's like putting sugar on crap, and this chocolate cake tastes good, and it ain't chocolate cake. All right? So anyway, I'm going to move on. I'm going to play the rest of that song from The Minister. I haven't played it in a long time. I'm going to start playing it on every show when it ends up to keep us in a certain mindset. And Akbar Muhammad, rest in peace. He transitioned, and we're going to do a show on the Muslim Street on Sunday about him. And I'm going to read off some stuff tomorrow that was written. Brother Malik wrote an article. Dr. Vibrant wrote an article. He called me today, and I'm going to distribute that tomorrow when I wake up. I think I'm just going to go hit the sack right now after this is over. But I want to thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. I love you all very much. And so we're definitely going to continue on and speak truth, but we're going to also speak positivity and project for the future. We can't follow the same old narrative that has us like these, I don't want to say sisters and brothers, but that's what they are. They're just misled and they're sucked up to poison. We can't be moving that way anymore. We got to move different. And the minute you say, oh, we have to wake up, check yourself. Who has to wake up? If you're saying wake up, you don't have to. You're already awakened. Go to the next level. Join on with people who are already awakened and move forward. You're going to have to leave some people behind because they drank the poison, they drank the Kool-Aid, and they're going to produce nothing. And they'll be the ones crying when they realize they will wake up the moment before they transition and realize they spent a whole life not doing anything progressive. Much love to you all. Lance Scurv out. We're going to talk tomorrow, and thank you for being here. Like, share, and subscribe, and all that good business, all right? Peace. Much love.
Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition? Stripped of our names, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion. Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die. But all of the years that we're living, for us there's nothing but hell, pain, torture, and misgiving. Yet the Bible speaks of a heaven filled with material luxury, which the white man and the preacher has right here, so we see. So my friend, take it for what it's worth. Your heaven and your hell is right here on this earth. So let's check back into history, which rewards all research and tells us plainly. Before the white man gained entry to the East, he was living in the caves of Europe, a ravenous beast, eating juniper roots and eating flesh raw, till God sent Moses to civilize him and teach him the law. Then, following Marco Polo, an explorer, he gained entry into Asia and Africa. From China he took silk and gunpowder. From India he took jute, manganese, and rubber. He raped Africa of her diamonds and her gold. From the Mideast he took barrels of oil untold. Raping, robbing, and murdering everything in his path. The whole black world has tasted of the white man's wrath. So my friend, it's not hard to tell. A white man's heaven is a black man's hell. Came to America, we were living in the East. By the Nile River, we were living in luxury, enjoying freedom, justice, and equality. We wore silken robes and slippers of gold. We were the wealthiest and the wisest people, I'm told. Now we are the poorest of the poor. Nobody wants us at their door. So my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is black man hell. When the white man came to America, he told the Indian, I am your white brother. He said, red man, I'll treat you the best. Yet and still he pushed the Indian further west with his white woman and firewater. With tricks and lies he stole America. The original owner of this nation is cooped up on a reservation. So my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is black man hell. He needed someone to work the land. His back was too weak. He needed you, black man, so he commissioned Sir John Hawkins to commit the world's most grievous sin, to take a man who's born to be free and bring him down to slavery, to sell a man as merchandise, on his body put a price. Oh my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is black man hell.